The mystery of the moon.
And welcome again to 6 Weeks to Wellness with Jan Fitzpatrick of inVibeHealth.com and our 4-part series for the month of May about the phases of a woman's life. So Jan, we're talking today about the moon. Tell me about this. What are we talking about today?
Well, as far as back as anyone can remember, the sun has been the masculine aspect, and the moon has been the feminine aspect of nature. And the ancients worshipped this mysterious and beautiful orb, and our female bodies are connected to its ever-changing shape and pull on the waters of the earth and in our bodies. And the triple moon is a goddess symbol that represents the maiden, mother, and crone as the waxing, full, and waning moon. The triple goddess was worshipped around the world long before the Abrahamic religions as a threefold aspect of Gaia, the Earth Mother, as well as to signify the eternal cycle of birth, life, and death.
Well, that's fascinating, Jan. So and those are the 3 points that we're going to talk about today. So we've got the maiden moon, the mother moon, and the crone moon, right?
Yes.
So enlighten me, Jan. What are we talking about? What is the maiden moon?
Well, the maiden moon, if you think of a maiden, young woman, it's also the waxing moon from the new moon, which is pretty much just blank, dark night.
Well, there is no moon, right?
Yeah. And there is no moon that we can see, to the full moon, to the day before the full moon. Okay. And it represents new beginnings, birth, youth, purity, expansion, inception, and enchantment.
Interesting. And so this is the maiden moon.
Yes.
We've got a new moon. We've got the dark sky, and then it starts to grow. And this is the beginning of this cycle here. All right. So what is the mother moon then?
Well, if you go back to the maiden moon, before we get into the mother moon, just one little thing, because the moon has a great influence on us. And going from the new moon to the full moon is an auspicious time to bring about change and transformation. Using that energy, you can begin and develop a new project.
Okay, then. So, all things new. So this is definitely the spring theme, right?
Yes.
To go with the moon. All right, so I jumped the gun before. So now tell me about the mother moon.
Well, the mother moon is only really, there are 3 days of the full moon, but the real mother moon is the actual day of the full moon.
Easy for you to say, Jan.
And it indicates, if you think about it, a mother, ripeness, fertility, sexuality, power, fulfillment, and stability. And on the day of the full moon, when you follow your enhanced intuition on that day and surround your project with love, it cannot fail to be achievable.
So that's when you want to go for it, is when the moon is full and you've reached this mother moon, okay?
Well, you've done all the developing, you've started it, you've done the development, and now you just go for it.
Excellent. So that takes us then to the crone moon. So I can see where we're going here. I've understood the lunar cycle. I get where we're going here. So, but tell me the significance then of the crone moon.
Well, the crone moon in modern times has more been called the wise woman moon. It's a kinder, gentler.
It puts a nicer spin
imagination.
On it. I mean, that's sort of an archaic word. It doesn't feel good now, though.
Well, we don't use it as it used to be used.
Right.
So that the crone moon is the waning moon from the day after the full moon to the day before the new moon. And it represents wisdom, compassion, a lifetime of experience, repose, completion, and death. And if you're thinking in terms of a project or relationship or situation, it's you've used the other moons for that energy, and this energy is for winding down, is for completing the project, situation, or relationship in your life or in your work.
Yeah, I like it. So, I mean, in the first phase where you're sort of laying the groundwork, laying the foundation, it's coming to fruition in the second phase, and now it's completed its cycle, and maybe now you're preparing for a new cycle or preparing for the next generation, right?
Kind of tweaking the project so it's, and you can think of it, any of the moon cycles or the phases, it can also be applied to, the whole year too, as you mentioned, spring, summer, fall, winter. It's just another way of looking at how things progress. And it's just explaining a little bit from what the ancients used the energy of those moons in specific ways. They wouldn't begin a process or a project during a crone moon, let's say. They would wait till the new moon and start something new.
Right, and in that cyclical way, you wouldn't really start too many projects in the dead of winter, right? I mean, you might plan them.
Yep.
And you would start them.
Do some planning.
Exactly. You'd be mapping out, your garden and getting ready to plant the seeds in spring and so on.
Exactly.
So very, very cool. I like the layers to this thing. So excellent. So Jan, we're talking about obviously a whole series here. So the moon being the first part that we're sort of looking at of phases of a woman's life. So this is this cyclical nature to things.
Yeah.
So we've been talking about maiden moon, mother moon, and wise woman moon.
Thank you.
Right? We prefer that,
Yes.
I don't like those archaic words that just don't sound good. So if you want to continue with us, Jan and I are going to continue having this conversation in several more parts here. So you want to get connected with Jan over at the website, which is inVibeHealth.com. You don't want to miss out. There's great stuff there. There's lots of great stuff actually there. But the one thing you certainly don't want to miss is taking advantage of Jan's offer to get her Amazon.com book, which has been revised, right, Jan? I mean, just to let people know, it's been reformatted, it's been prettied up, so there's kind of a new edition of it. So make sure you go there, put your name and email address in the form after you click on the image of the book, and you will get a free copy of Jan's book, as well as then be able to get all of her notices about what's going on at inVibeHealth.com and all these great segments that we're creating, and you won't miss out on the rest of this series about the phases of a woman's life. So Jan, I will see you soon in part 2.